This portion of the news brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Perry Christie, setting the record straight as it relates to accusations about his relationship with the Bahamas Petroleum Company.
The Prime Minister made it clear that he has no business interest in BPC. In the House of Assembly Monday night, as he wrapped up debate on the mid-year budget, Mr. Christie stated that at the end of his political career, he would have dedicated some 40 years to serving his country.
Well, Prime Minister Christie also said when he leaves the political stage, he will do so with his integrity intact.
I'm not going to let nobody come in here, right? Yes. Or out there. Nobody, in here or out there, Mr. Speaker, and besmirch my integrity. I don't own a share in a company in the Bahamas other than one in a company that owns my house. Never made an investment. Something I shouldn't be proud of. But there's no basis for conflict with companies with me. I thank God, Mr. Speaker, that from time to time I'm able to give advice that I'm paid for when I'm in opposition. But I gave up my career, Mr. Speaker, for public life.
Well, this evening we continue our Charybdis series, and Charles Fisher takes a look at some of the people who were instrumental in shaping sports in the country.
3 former sports ministers had a chance to tour the facilities for the first time on the invitation of current Minister of Sports, the Honorable Dr. Daniel Johnson. The country's first sports minister, Dr. Kendall Nordich, happy to see such a structure and ready for the games.
It's a great achievement. I see the facilities are well maintained and ready for action. It was something that I dreamt about when I served as Minister of Sports, and this is a great achievement and something we look forward to that we will be able to do. It will inspire our young people to do their best.
Dr. Norman Gay feeling the same way.
Sports is the greatest social force of our times. And in these particular times, we need the kind of things that bring people together. It is definitely through this measure that we can do something about crime, keeping youngsters involved in positive activity.
Algernon Allen caught up in the beauty of the jewel of the Caribbean.
We literally marveled at the grand display that was there. In fact, I was saying, wow, straight through. If we all work at this together, if you all hold your hands, grasp the new vision which you and your colleagues have, that we'll have one of our grandest periods in the history of sports in the Bahamas. And it augurs well for youth development, it augurs well for national development, and it augurs well for what I consider this overarching concept of one Bahamas in an independent country.
With the former ministers on board, it's now time for Bahamians to get on board also. For the ZNS News Network, I'm Charles Fisher.
Well, 5 months since the new multi-million-dollar arrivals terminal opened at the Lynden Pinley International Airport, and still there are a few bottlenecks to correct. Nassau Airport Development Company officials say the congestion at the international pickup point is a major concern. It's a frustration for taxi drivers and the public as well. NAD CEO Vernice Walking told Rotarians today it's a bigger issue than they anticipated, and part of the reason is due to the configuration of the walkway.
One of the early corrective measures is to reconfigure the access. Now that the airport is functional and the arrivals terminal is open and we see how people exit the terminal and how cars access them, we're able to make the corrections that we need to in order to facilitate through flow as well as holding for taxis and other vehicles. So we're working on it.
With a number of oil spills occurring in Bahamian waters in recent weeks, government is ensuring that it improves on its response time. In fact, this country is hosting an oil spill prevention, response and cooperation workshop at Super Club's Breezes. While addressing delegates, Transport Minister Glenys Hanna Martin said authorities will work in collaboration with regional and U.S. counterparts, which will allow them to create a blueprint for a contingency plan in the event of a major spill.
As an archipelago, the demands of an effective national response plan are considerable, with our islands spanning over 100,000 square miles of sea. We are now reviewing our own national plan to ensure a level of preparedness in each of these islands that comprise our country, and also to anticipate new events that might put at risk our treasured marine environment, such as, for example, oil exploration activities.
Coming up, we explore the possibilities on Abaco.
And some special kids getting some special tickets. Find out more coming up in sports. You're watching The Bahamas Tonight.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
This is your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm LaDawn Davis. Service industry workers will soon see an increase in their national insurance contributions, according to NIB Minister Shane Gibson. The raise in fees paid by servers, croupiers, and other service industry workers whose weekly income is made up from tips and gratuities will be based on the amount of money they actually take home. Currently, those fees are calculated on their base pay, and this causes a problem for these workers when they apply to NIB for benefits. With the new fee structure, workers will pay more but will also receive more in benefits. The new system should come into effect as early as July. 236 companies affected by the New Providence Road Improvement Project have been given certificates of relief. This coming from the Minister of Finance, Prime Minister Perry Christie, in his budget wrap-up last evening. The certificate will allow relief for businesses affected in a number of ways. More than half the businesses have accepted micro or government guaranteed loans from the Bahamas Development Bank. Others will see breaks on their real property tax, customs duties, electricity bills, and business licensing fees. 230 of the 236 companies will also be catching a break on their bills to the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas. The NCAA's March Madness starts this week, and once again, employers in the U.S. are bracing for the annual dip in productivity. Last year, businesses in the United States where college basketball's national championship tournament is an annual celebration of workplace distraction. The estimate in lost wages was over $134 million for just the first 2 days. Workers calling in sick is the #1 issue. However, some laundry companies are being proactive and are looking for ways to minimize the losses by sponsoring bracket pools and providing 15-minute scoring updates that are distributed via email to employees. Others are allowing employees to have an extra computer screen on their desktops in order to watch the games online while they work. It's a case of if you can beat them, join them. And that's your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm LaDawn Davis.